What's going on, everybody? RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com. Hope all is well wherever you are. Hope you're happy, safe, healthy, and that your weekend is off to a good start. It is Friday, November 21st, 2025, and the Dallas Cowboys play this Sunday, next Sunday, depending on how you look at the week format. They host the Philadelphia Eagles. It's their first game at home since they got destroyed by the Arizona Cardinals on Monday Night Football. And it begins their gauntlet in terms of warp speed. I've been talking about this for a while. We know the drill, obviously, as Cowboys fans. They'll play on Sunday, they'll host the Eagles, then very quickly turn around and host the Kansas City Chiefs on Thanksgiving Day, and 7 days later visit the Detroit Lions on Thursday Night Football. They don't do this every week, or excuse me, every season in terms of going Sunday to Thanksgiving to the Thursday after Thanksgiving. It is pretty common, but not 100% of the time. But nevertheless, when it does happen, it can feel like a lot of action happening all at once, and it is my job to guide you through all of it. You can hang out with me on social media, X, Instagram, and Threads at RJ Ochoa, TikTok, RJ.Ochoa. Go like my Facebook page, just search for RJ Ochoa. Obviously, subscribe here to the Blog on the Boys YouTube channel where I'm talking about the Cowboys each and every single day, recorded videos, live shows, post-game shows. I will be live following the game here on the Blog on the Boys YouTube channel. That show is powered by the Bleacher Report app, so you can also watch it there. And the mixtape that I do with Brandon Lee Gowton, we have two interviews that are on the schedule next week that I think you're going to enjoy. So in addition to all the football happening, there will be some fun stuff happening here on the Blog on the Boys YouTube channel. I'm sure a lot of people will be traveling and whatnot. So if you have some time to hang out with me on the internet, I would certainly appreciate it. On the subject of time, I don't have a lot. It is Friday, and I've been doing a million things. You know how it is when the holidays are coming around. I've shared before that my son was born the night before Thanksgiving, now 4 years ago. So his birthday is on Monday, but his party is on Saturday. So we're doing a bunch of stuff. In fact, I baked a cake. I'm in the process of baking a cake. My office is actually near our kitchen in my home. So I've got a cake in the oven. So this show has kind of got a timer, literally speaking. So let's go ahead and not waste any more time and get to it. This is final thoughts. These are my final thoughts relative to the next game for the Cowboys, which in this case is against the Eagles. And I think that, look, I enjoy the rivalry as much as anybody else. I am a millennial, and so growing up for me, the most significant rivalry for the Cowboys was the Giants. Those games that Tony Romo and co would play against Eli Manning and co. Those were super intense. Those were super epic. It wasn't until I'd offer the 2010s that the Eagles really started to kind of become the main rival for the Cowboys, the most successful rival for the Cowboys. And obviously they've won 2 Super Bowls in recent history, like the Giants did in the time that I was talking about. And so they are the gold standard relative to the NFC East. They're going to be the team who puts an end to the no team has repeated as NFC East champion stuff. It's just, we know all that stuff. But that being said, this is a massive game for the Cowboys on Sunday. I think we all acknowledge that. The reality, based on the fact that they are 4-5-1, is that this is a massive game for them, not because it's the Eagles. Obviously, the Eagles are a great team and the reigning champions and all the obvious things. But this is a big game for the Cowboys because it's the next one. And that sounds like football cliche, but it's the reality of the situation. If you're talking about hopes and wants and wishes and ambitions for the playoffs, I understand some people want to disconnect and let go of those sorts of things. But if you are somebody who is hoping against all odds, not all, but most odds, that the Cowboys are going to be able to rally and pull off some sort of playoff berth here in 2025, they're going to have to win a lot of games, most of their remaining games. And so the fact that it's a division rival, sure, that amplifies things a little bit, but this isn't, in my opinion, in my estimation, the classic Cowboys-Eagles division rivalry. NFC East stuff is on the line because even if the Cowboys win this game, and I think they will win this game for a variety of reasons, but even if they do, I mean, they're not going to seriously be in contention to win the NFC East, which is normally part of what the stakes involved in this game, this rivalry are. This is just going to make their odds a little bit less long, a little bit shorter, if you will. And so, yeah, but that is equally true for every game remaining for the Cowboys across the rest of this season. And so it's hard because I think we want to believe, we want to give our heart, we want to say, okay, go on a run, make the playoffs. But it's such a tenuous and stressful thing because the moment they lose a game, the moment they lose a 6th game, it's all, even more difficult, right? And they could, I mean, to be very clear here, they could finish 10-6-1 if you assume they only lose a singular game across the rest of the season, which is a big assumption. But they could finish 10-6-1 and make the playoffs. They could finish 9-7-1 and still make the playoffs. But it kind of feels like that last mulligan you have left, right? Like you kind of feel like this team can maybe afford one more loss, maybe two, if a lot of things broke their way. And so it's a matter of trying to go as long as you can without burning that loss. And it's going to involve upsetting teams. The Cowboys are home underdogs in this game against the Eagles. They'll probably be home underdogs against the Chiefs. They'll definitely be underdogs, obviously, on the road against the Lions. And so you're going to have to shock the world in a odds-based sense. You're going to have to win games that you're not supposed to, because the Cowboys to this point of the season have lost games that they weren't supposed to. They were the road favorites in Chicago and in Carolina. They were favored at home against Arizona. Those are 3 games right there, and we can quibble and debate the quality of who the Bears and Panthers have become. The Cardinals, not so much. But the reality is when those were games that you effectively had in your hand and you let them slip, now those games that we said back in May when the schedule came out, those are probably losses. The Eagles, Chiefs, Lions, maybe you said they were or weren't, but you're going to have to go take those. You're going to have to go steal those. You're going to have to go, make things even from a mathematical standpoint, because you lost these other ones. And that's the challenge from here on out for the Cowboys across the remainder of the regular season. And that makes it fun, but that makes it stressful, and that makes it, intense, but it also makes it stressful, and it makes it awesome, but it makes it scary. And so, it's look, we've talked a lot all week, obviously, about how when you win a game, everything feels possible. And the Cowboys haven't won consecutive games since weeks 4 and 5 of last year. The game they beat the Steelers in last year on the road after I know there was a lightning delay the last time the Cowboys played the Eagles, but there was a lightning delay in that game. When they won that game, they'd won 2 games in a row. That was the last instance of the Dallas Cowboys winning 2 football games in a row. If they're to win this game on Sunday against the Eagles, that would obviously be a streak in a barely technical literal term, as it would be 2 games. I think we all anticipate that Dak Prescott's going to reach the 160 yards necessary to become the Dallas Cowboys all-time passing leader. So if you can do all those things, you can build up those good vibes, build up that goodwill, and maybe make things uncomfortable and stressful for the Eagles because of the drama they have going on in their locker room or whatever. You make Thanksgiving week a lot more tolerable for a lot of people. But all the things that we've been talking about here, all the stress or scariness or whatever, the dreams and ambitions and hopes and copes you want to have, they become more realistic with every passing win. That's not to say that they are realistic. They just become more realistic. If the Cowboys are 5-1 as of Sunday night, and when you're kind of packing your suitcase to travel or getting the house ready for your visitors for the holiday, it's going to be hard, right? It's going to be hard not to let yourself dream and let yourself think like, man, if they beat the Chiefs, right? Like all of it, we become people who barter and negotiate on a week to week basis. It's just this one, just get this one. And then it's just get the next one and the next one and the next one. And so I think if the Cowboys are able to, if we zoom out here, right, and we talked about the gauntlet that they're going to run the Sunday to Thanksgiving to Thursday, if they're able to take 2 of these next 3 games, and that would mean that they emerge from the Lions game at 500, that would put them at 6-1 after that second Thursday game, the Thursday night football game. That would set them up with an opportunity to host the Vikings, who are certainly down, host the Chargers, who my watch has now heard me, but host the Chargers, who have been all over the place in some respects, but certainly a difficult game. To visit the Commanders, who are definitely down, and visit the Giants. I mean, I don't think if you break it up, I think you got to win 2 of these first 3, Eagles, Chiefs, and Lions, and then you got to win 3 of your last 4, Vikings, Chargers, Commanders, Giants. If you do that, that's what, 5 wins across the rest of the season. That puts you at 9-7-1, and that gives you a chance. And right now, you're a team that is, in a position to take any kind of chance that you're going to get. That's what happens when you fall to 3-5-1 right before the trade deadline. So I managed to do all this and get my final thoughts out without sneezing. I thought I was going to, but also without, there's my cake timer, my 1-minute marker. So thanks everybody for hanging out. Dallas Cowboys in Espanol dropping after this video. Our Madden stream did drop before it here on the YouTube channel. So make sure you check those things out. Make sure you subscribe. I'll be live after the game in English for our Dallas Cowboys post-game show, obviously. And we got a lot of stuff coming next week. So make sure you subscribe. You can hang out with me and see access points and clips and everything from all the interviews and videos that I do on social media. The links to everything are down in the description below. This is the last time I will speak to you in English before my son's birthday party. So wish me well. His birthday is on Monday. He's going to be 4 years old. He's the greatest thing to ever happen to my wife and I. He's our biggest blessing. And I'm just so excited to celebrate him and celebrate with him this weekend. I know a lot of you have followed me and been a part of my life digitally and whatnot since he's been born, and I really appreciate that. And so thank you everybody for hanging out, and with all that being said, hope you have yourselves a wonderful weekend, however you're celebrating or whatever you're doing, and we will see you next time. That's the cake. We'll talk soon.